Hiya! Welcome back to Fika 2.0. It's been quite a while since I have recorded a voiceover, so please bear with me. I'm a little rusty. And today I wanted to show you a speed build of me putting together, sort of a representation of Lake Tekapo in New Zealand. I studied in New Zealand a while ago, back in 2017, and I think this is one of my favorite places in the world. So as you know, I built a giant lake, and then right around here, I'm actually going to put my house, because obviously I want to live in what I hope will be the prettiest part of my island. And I'm just going to plant a lupin field. And I'm just going to use loads of purple hyacinths. So it's kind of like a lilac field. It's funny, I've had this idea for quite a long time, and I saw that there's a trend going around to do lilac fields. And someone, I think Gemma it was, actually was like, you should do a lilac field. That would fit so well with your island. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already planning on doing the lupins. So, coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe it was just the push that I needed to actually do it, but as you can see, here I am, placing my house. Don't worry, I changed the exterior to match the aesthetics of the flower field. And then it was the next day, because I had some studying to do. So I should probably let you know that this recording, like the actual footage of me doing the build, is about a month old. It might actually be like 5 weeks old. So you'll have to excuse me if my voiceover is a bit all over the place, because I don't really remember what happens in what order. But here I am placing some custom paths all around. I decided that I wanted a little deck for myself, treat myself, because on Fika 1.0, way back when, I had my house right above the, not right above, but to the, northeast of the town center, and I had loads of villagers living around me, and I was kind of I was in and amongst it. And then for this new island, I was like, I want to live in a private home in the middle of a flower field next to a lake where nobody's near me. So if that doesn't tell you about my mental state right now, nothing else will. And here I am. I ended up deciding to alternate between light dirt strips of path and the dark dirt strips of path, because I felt like it gave some dimension. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And luckily for you, I actually cut out the parts in this video where I went back and fixed it all. So you can see right here, I'm placing the light dirt again, because guess what? I changed it 3 times. At one point, I had every other square in a sort of checker pattern, and it looked terrible, but this is what I ended up going with. Pretty happy with it. Oh my goodness, it took me a month to grow all of those hyacinths. My goodness. Here I am deciding, do I want to do every other stripe grass, or do I want to do every other stripe light dirt? And you know what? Didn't I seriously just tell you you don't have to watch me change my mind in this video? I mean, to be fair, I did warn you that I don't really remember what happens in this video, but I do remember actively trying to make up my mind before I recorded. But clearly I didn't do a great job. Alright, so this is me just finishing up placing all the purple hyacinths, and I realized it looked a bit wrong, and it had been a long time since I had been to Lake Tekapo, 4 years, something like that. So I had to look at some reference photos, because I was actually just going off of memory, but based on the reference photos, I saw that there's actually some pinks and blues and whites thrown about in the flower field, I decided that I needed to go breed some pink hyacinths, and unfortunately, I didn't have any. So that's why this video was quite delayed. I wanted this up quite a long time ago, but this one took me a long time, and it was mainly just for the flower breeding. I think this is where I start placing the path on the other side. Oh no, I'm just fixing the actual walking path. Right. Oh, and you can see that I placed the log stakes. I ended up using the birch version of the log stakes kind of on either side of the path because I felt like that looked really nice. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I think I do move them around, and I definitely place some custom paths underneath them later on. But here we go. Here I am. Originally, I was just going to have the field up towards the lake, but I couldn't figure out what to... Thank you, Finch, for shaking in the middle of my voiceover. I really appreciate that. I couldn't decide what to put down here, and it looked a bit empty, kind of walking on that path and only having the flowers on one side. So I was like, you know, an easy way to fill this space is to just add more lupins. So that's what I did. And that obviously took more flower breeding. So if you're going to do something like this, just know you're going to spend hours breeding hyacinths. But I don't know, I think it's worth it. You'll see at the end, though, what the end product was. And that's me, finished with placing the dirt. And a few days later, I had bred enough purple hyacinths to fill the entire space. Pretty happy with it. Here's me just showing off what it looks like. I think like 5 a.m. or something. And then I changed my mind and decided to extend it past my house a bit. Oh, goodness me. Do you guys want to know? You want to know how my exams are going? Or do you just should we not go there? Should we just not go there? I'm actually recording this the day after my written exams finished. And my goodness gracious, they were awful. Absolutely awful. So our written exam, it covers basically everything we've learned in vet school up until now, because of course you just need to know all this if you're going to be treating animals someday. So, you know, it's one massive exam at the end of the year, mostly focused on, you know, I'm in third year, so it was mostly focused on third year stuff, and they lulled us into this like false sense of security by saying, we know you guys have had a tough year, it's been hard adjusting to learning solely from home in isolation, we understand, we're not trying to fail you, blah 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 blah. And then the first exam is multiple choice, like 90 or so multiple choice questions, and they were very, 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 very difficult, and none of us were expecting it to be that bad. And it's not that it's the material that's hard. I'm not complaining about having to know the material, it's that they were worded very strangely. Anyways, you don't care about the fine details of that. But to put it into perspective how awful these exams were, my best friend at the vet school is like top of our class. She performs very well. She tends to perform very well on exams. She works very hard. She's one of the like hardest working people I know in vet school. And she was brought to tears by our first part of the written exams because they were worded so weirdly that you second guessed everything you thought you knew, you would second guess, because it was so strange. They just, nothing like anything I'd experienced in vet school up until that point. It was very frustrating because I've put in a good, 400 hours over the last month or so studying, and I stayed on top of my stuff this year despite doing YouTube like 15 to 20 hours a week. I had a really busy, hard year. And I worked so hard to stay on top of it. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I know this stuff. I feel like I'm going to do so well this year. And I was able to roughly estimate if I get at least half of the ones I know I got right, correct. And anyways, we took them at home, but with a proctoring service. So I was able to kind of write down answers I wasn't sure of. I was able to, flag questions I knew I got right. And I estimate I got like maybe a 60%. And it was just absolutely soul destroying when you work so hard for something to just get absolutely obliterated by an exam. And I know exams aren't really, a measure of how good of a vet you're going to be. And I've had a lot of people in upper years say, congratulations, you got through the hardest exams. Third year are the worst. You did it. And I'm like, I don't feel like I did, but thank you. I'm glad the worst of it's over. Anyways, I'm ranting while I decorate about exams right now. The next day they're called spot exams, and it's basically public health. So abattoir decisions, they'll show you a lesion and you have to decide what happens to that body part or the whole animal. Not going to go into detail, but that one was slightly better. And then we had CDMs yesterday, which is clinical decision making. So these are basically essay questions. They'll give you a scenario and have you talk through what you would do. And those tend to be the scariest part of the exam. But I think I nailed those. That's why I'm actually in an okay mood today, because after the MCQs and those are multiple choice questions, after the multiple choice and after the spot exam, I just had no faith in myself. I was like, CDMs are supposed to be the worst. What in the world what am I gonna do? I feel like I've had the worst. Well, turns out I had. Because CDMs, I feel like I nailed it. And I went through and checked the things I could have gotten wrong, and I think I got upwards of an 80, maybe even 90% on that. And it's just weird, because the notoriously most difficult portion of the exam was the easiest for me. Now, I'm sorry if you don't care about this, but this is what's going on in my life right now, so I'm gonna rant about it. But I don't know. I obviously don't know because I'm not in the admin and whatever. I have a feeling that the admin for the university saw that everybody was failing the multiple choice and the spot, and they didn't want to resit us all, and they thought, oh my gosh, we made this too hard. So I feel like they went back and made the CDMs more manageable so that they wouldn't have to resit all of us. Because obviously if you have a huge percentage of your class and your highest performing students not doing well on an exam, doesn't that say more about your exam, or at least your the material you're teaching, than how the students are doing, if that makes sense? Because, we worked hard. I swear. You should know I've not been doing YouTube or streaming for a month now, and I miss it. And it makes me sad that I had to just put this part of my life aside for a whole month because I knew third-year exams were going to destroy me. But for heaven's sakes, I didn't know they were going to destroy me this much. Anyways, okay. That aside, I have my OSCEs next week, which are objective, structured clinical exams. So you basically have a bunch of people watching you perform clinical skills. You got 5 minutes. There's this big scary alarm that goes off every 5 minutes, and they're not allowed to talk to you. And it's just your patient requires this much, mgs per kg drug. You have this percent solution or mgs per mil solution. Perform an intramuscular injection, or perform an intravenous injection, and then, or it's place an IV catheter, or yada yada yada. Show all your clinical skills, or suture this stomach shut. Obviously, a cadaver stomach. Anyways, I have that next week, and I've already done the revision sessions. I feel pretty confident in my ability to perform my clinical skills. It really is muscle memory with just a bit of knowledge. So I feel like I've got that. I feel like I did well enough on the CDMs that I'm not gonna fail. I mean, it's still completely possible. But I think I could have passed. I maybe managed it, but I'll find out. I'll find out someday. I don't really want to think about it right now. I just want to think about being able to stream again. So I'm planning on streaming this Saturday, actually. I can't do Sunday because they release the OSCE station names the night before. So I can't do Sunday, but I can do Saturday. So I will have a villager hunt for you guys tomorrow. I promise. I need a break from studying anyways. I've done all that I can do. And I miss you guys. So I hope to see you all on stream tomorrow. And then this is me just doing some finishing touches for the decorations for this build. I put this little picnic area here because I felt it suited the vibe. It's very picnic girl. I almost said something very different there, but if you watch Best Dressed, you know. It's very picnic girl-esque, and I like it. Should I put a little disclaimer in the video saying I rant about exams for 10 minutes straight? Skip to this in order to avoid listening to that nonsense. I don't know. Should I? Maybe I should. I'm sure most of you are 0% interested in this. Anyways, this is me finishing the design for my home. I think I end up taking down the hyacinth wreath eventually, and I also end up switching this bird cage and the rocking chair to the black variant because I felt it suited the area better. I might not change the rocking chair in this video though. I think I did that later. Anyways, I've got more builds planned. I'm excited about it. I think this one turned out quite nice. I hope you feel the same. If you don't, totally understandable. I know throwing a bunch of flowers in a field isn't everybody's vibe, but I think it looks really nice. It's a nice, calming, relaxing space. And that's what Animal Crossing's all about. So, there we go. That's me finished. And here are some little cheeky cinematic shots for you. And that's me. I look forward to seeing you guys on stream tomorrow. Hopefully you'll come back. I've been gone for a while. I wouldn't blame you if you couldn't care less. That's totally fair enough, but I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Na mi o mi que mi na o na mi o mi na o na o na mi o mi